Hey, listeners and hearers, welcome back to Imagination Station. I'm your host and favorite author, Lisa Walker McCrae, with another compelling reading from the pages of my novel, A Peculiar Kind of Love. Remember, you guys, this video is for entertainment purposes only. First, y'all always know what we do about this time. Big praise to the Most High Yah, and a special shout out to you guys that are still chiming in. Like always, I appreciate your time, the love that you show, and the support. With that being said, you all about ready to turn some pages? See what the imagination has in store for us today? Cool beans. Chauncey, set the stage. Okay, quick recap, my beloved earlenders. In our last reading, we left Drew over at Saddle Girls with Dean. She had to drop in for a quick therapy session after the sit down with Carl that brought life to the mother that she never knew, Joy. Anyway, Joy was no longer a pigment of Drew's imagination. She was real in her eyesight, and Drew did not like what she saw. Actually, Drew despised her more, with a million more questions that needed to be answered. On a happier note, Dean was able to keep our girl on track with some good sound advice and encouragement. Now, everything is going well, but there's still questions about this lady that has came into the shop that Drew seen in there before. This lady had this drawing essence to Drew, so Drew had questions about who she was. She associated the lady with the same lady who gave Gabe the pinwheel at Mystic Pier. And she was also the lady that had Monte all worked up. So, Drew asked Dean about the lady. Dean wasn't really... she didn't have any information about the lady. She told Drew she was just an in-and-out shopper that didn't say too much. Fine. Drew still had a need to know who this lady was. Hunties. When I tell y'all Drew is nosy, she is nosy. But it's all good because we nosy too, with a need to know. So, let's see if this chapter released some information about this mysterious woman. It's been a few months and we catch up with Drew checking in on Marcus. This was something she did every night, 9 o'clock on the dot. By this time she knew Marcus was done with his clients and was now completing invoices. Let's check it out. Hello? Marcus answered the phone on the first ring. Hunty, he know who's calling. Hey, handsome, Drew responded. I'm making sure my sweet baby is okay. Aww. Marcus assured he was fine and was almost done. How's my heartbeat, he asked. Drew assured she was also fine and if he was coming to Promise later on the night when he was done. Marcus thought about it. As much as he wanted to see Drew, he had to decline. The hour drive to Promise was a little bit too much for him tonight. Those 4th of July haircuts were pouring in at every shop. Between Drew, the shop, and the wedding, Marcus was exhausted. He would have been game if him and Drew hadn't agreed not to stay in the Victorian home until after the wedding. It was nights like this Marcus wished he hadn't agreed. Not tonight, baby love. Marcus disappointed. And Drew was slightly disappointed, but she understood. So I'll see you tomorrow, she asked. Sure thing, future, Marcus assured. Him and Drew talked for a few more moments and then he hung up and went back to work. Shortly after, a young man knocked on the door. Marcus yelled out that the shop was closed for the night, but the young man pleaded that Marcus did him a favor and cut his hair. Marcus looked at the young man. He had his palms pressed together, displaying a hopeful plea. It'll only take you a minute, Marcus consulted with self. After agreeing with self, Marcus emerged from the barber chair and went over and opened the door for the young man. After letting him in, Marcus locked the door. Upon turning around, the boy stood there motionless with a gun pointed at him. Give me all your money, he asked calmly. Marcus was stuck. There were so many emotions he couldn't hold on to one without another trying to take control of the situation. Marcus couldn't believe this was happening to him again. If y'all remember, the same thing happened to Marcus's parents when he was just a boy. Anyway, moving forward, Marcus stayed calm and tried to assess the situation. "Look, man, you don't have to do this," he pleaded. Memories of that night his parents were shot triggered his fears. Marcus was shaking like a leaf. His emotions were high, fear was in control, and anger was slowly taking over. The young man wasn't reasoning. He didn't say much. He calmly asked Marcus again, "Give me your money." Marcus eyed the young man. He couldn't have been no more than 16 years old. He was nervous, and Marcus could tell he'd never handled a gun before. In Marcus's mind, he could just rush him, but he didn't want to fall victim to an amateur with a gun. Marcus exhaled slowly, then spoke. "Look, man, if you need, His words were paused when the boy started waving the gun around. He told Marcus to just be quiet and give him the money. All he wanted was the money and he'd leave. Okay, Marcus held up his hands. Meanwhile, unaware her man was being held up, Drew walked over to the closet door where her wedding gown hung. She couldn't believe in just a few days she would be Mrs. Marcus Tidwell. A smile graced her face thinking back on a memory of her and Marcus. It was when they were in 8th grade. The two were paired up to do a project for theater arts class in which Drew had to write a short story and Marcus had to act it out. The story was entertaining and funny. The class really got a kick out of Marcus hopping around on stage like a frog. On the other hand, Marcus didn't find it funny at all. Drew chuckled, visualizing Marcus's face as he jumped up and down, croaking like a frog. "Mrs. Marcus Tidwell," she uttered, rubbing the sequins on the gown right before turning the light off. She then joined Ma Tate and Dean in the kitchen where they were hard at work on wedding decor. Drew was excited. Everyone were doing their part. Even Michael had been cooperative, making sure the groomsmen stayed in line and on point. Being a hopeless romantic, Drew wanted her wedding to be an event where couples fell in love again and new love blossomed. Examining the wedding bouquet that sit on the hallway table, Drew was pleased. She was really getting the hang of this wedding planning stuff, and had it not been for her running someone else's company, she could probably go all in. Drew's job was becoming overwhelming. She was really considering starting her own business. Anywho, Drew emerged from the hallway. She took a look around. Oh my goodness, it looks like a wedding pinata exploded in here. There was wedding stuff everywhere. Jay's house was wedding central. There were wedding magazines, wedding carts, wedding fabric, flowers. It was a mess. Things were everywhere. It looked like a tornado struck. Drew shook her head and joined the ladies. Anyway, hours had passed and the ladies were hard at work. They were involved. So involved, neither of them heard Jay come in. His eyes were widened and jaw dropped looking around at his living room, dining room, hallway, kitchen, and den. Jay asked, "What the hell? It looks like an episode of 4 Weddings in here." Then he cringed at the fact that he even knew what 4 Weddings was. "Oh, not my boy too." Jay shook his head, noticing Gabe had joined the planning as well. He was sitting in the middle of the floor playing with a bell and a ring barrel's pillow. "Good evening, ladies," Jay hollered out. The trio looked up, then put their heads right back down. There was only a couple of days into the wedding and they couldn't afford any distractions. Jay stood there with his hands out. As to ask, did anyone hear him? He couldn't believe the ladies were ignoring him that way. He was visual and demanded some attention. "Jay, get over there and sit down. That's what you do." Anyway, he didn't. Jay silently snickered, looking down at Gabe. Placing a finger over his lips, he motioned for Gabe to be quiet. Gabe laughed at his father's silliness. Jay then crept over to the radio and turned the volume down. 1, 2, 3, he counted. Hey, what are you doing? The women asked. Turn that back on, they demanded in unison. Jay had struck a nerve, honeys, interrupting these ladies' listening pleasures of the Isley brothers. He didn't care not one bit. They could see him now. Jay, why would you do that? Ma Tate asked. Jay complained that they had been going full force on this wedding for weeks, and he had had time to spend with his sweet lady. Ma Tate rolled her eyes at Jay's need to be loved. He then turned the volume back up on the radio and danced over to Dean. Taking her into his arms, the pair shared in a dance around the kitchen. Dean enjoyed the moment. The break from diamonds and pearls, satin and lace was just what she needed. Drew and Ma Tate shook their heads but never paused their work. Jay dipped Dean. She squealed with excitement. Oh yeah, Drew, why is Marcus sitting in the car? Jay asked. Drew paused her work on the centerpiece. What do you mean sitting in the car? She made her way over to the screen door. What is he doing here and why is he just sitting there? I tapped on the window and told him to get out. You know your man's special. Jay laughed at the comedy. Looking at Jay sideways, Drew raised a brow. With a roll of her eyes, she stated, no, sweetheart, you're the special one. Throwing Jay a wink, she stepped outside. Drew smiled with excitement to see Marcus had changed his mind. Marcus, baby, what are you doing here? She yelped out. Marcus didn't respond. He can't hear me? Drew asked Self, stepping off the porch, walking over to Marcus's truck. As Drew got closer, she could see something was wrong. She called out to Marcus again, but he still didn't respond. At this point, Drew's heart was beating 1,000,000 beats a minute. She tried opening the door, but it was locked and Marcus wasn't responding. Marcus, open the door, baby, she asked again. He just sat there, tears racing down his face. Drew tapped on the window, pleading for Marcus to say something, do something. At this point, she didn't know what to do. So, Drew looked to the heavens and called on Yah. Please, Yah, I need your help. I'm calling on you. Please, what's going on? As for Drew, she thought Marcus had gotten cold feet and came to tell her that the wedding was off, or something far more worse had happened. After calling on Yah, Drew pressed her face to the window. Her tears stained the glass. She pleaded, whatever it is, baby, we can fix it. Drew couldn't take another heartbreak. Baby, please, baby, hear my words. Please see me, baby. Suddenly, Marcus snapped from his trance. The distress in Drew's voice summons his attention and concern. He gently opened the door, took Drew into his arms and held her tight. I'm okay. It's okay. I'm okay, Drew, Marcus assured. She could feel his entire body shaking. You're not okay, Marcus. Why are you shaking like this? She asked. Marcus tried to explain, but couldn't get the words out. He finally spoke. His voice quivered with fear. Some kid robbed me tonight at the shop. I was scared, he admitted. Oh my gosh, baby. Drew could feel Marcus's tears hit her tears. She couldn't believe this happened to him. Marcus told Drew it was like reliving that night his parents got shot all over again. Oh, baby, I'm so sorry this happened to you. Drew pulled Marcus closer. He'd never talked about his parents shooting. So Drew thought with it happening so early in life, Marcus had put it behind him and moved on. But now she could see after 25 years, Marcus was still traumatized from that night. Marcus tried shaking the fear off, but it was stuck to him and refused to let go. He told Drew how scary and surreal the moment was, how it triggered every fiber in his body. Marcus exhaled, then spoke. Drew, after my parents' shooting, I was afraid. So I made myself forget. I thought if I forget the man, he's not gonna come back. So I pushed him to the back of my mind. Marcus shook his head repeatedly, then continued. That's how I dealt with things as a child, Drew. But looking at this gun tonight, looking at this boy, he ready to take my life. The memories came rushing back. The fear came rushing back. Marcus paused his words, then spoke again. I know who shot my parents, True. I see him at the store. I see him on the streets in the hood. I seen him in my shop. True was stuck. Well, beautiful souls. Look like as though another challenge has been set before our people. Let's define challenge. A difficult task that tests one's ability. And what Marcus doesn't understand right now or know is his abilities to be the victor over his fears and anger was about to be tested. So I'm going to need you all to join me for the next story time. I promise it will not disappoint, but instead have your ears wanting to hear more and your imaginations yearning to be stimulated. Until then, put this in your mental. Fear has two meanings. Face everything and rise, or forget everything and run. Someone who fears suffering is already suffering from what they fear. Y'all bless this reading and yourselves. Smooches.